What's up, bros, hoes, gigolos, my dominoes, my friends, my people? Hey, let's dig into the stock market and see what the heck is happening in the market indexes. And then my favorite stocks to day trade tomorrow. We had a little bit of a rest day in the QQQs, which was to be expected. We were running at the top of the Bollinger Band here. You can see here we're just like really just kind of narrowing this thing through. We needed the rest, right? We needed the rest day, and now we got the rest day, right? And of course we're going to have a little bit of a rest day because we have the Fed tomorrow. So the Fed is probably going to do nothing. They say nothing, do nothing. They'll cut a little bit. 0.25 is the expectation. Unless that's a surprise and they go 0.5 or 0, then the market will probably just do what it does, which is kind of grind higher. If they surprise, either way, it could actually be a negative, right? If they cut 0.5, it means probably that they're afraid of something. And if they cut 0, that's a no buenos because the expectation is that we need the cheaper rates, right? That's what the market wants. So otherwise, it is a no buenos. But if we just kind of, they do the 0.25, I think we're okay. We had a little bit of rest day. We needed it. Guys, whenever you're at the top of the Bollinger Band, if you break all the way outside, the market usually will, roll over for a couple days. So it's a good thing if you're bold to just go through. Now let's dig into this. So if you go on the SPY, you can see here a nice orderly pullback. Nice orderly pullback. This is just a classic flag pattern if you've ever... Right? If you didn't know this was a SPY and you just looked at this as a stock, you'd say this is a flag pattern. The market looks great. IWM nasty today. This is the one thing that gives me pause. Why is this thing going down so much? Right? It looked like it was going to break out. And then back down she goes. Right? Well, the main reason is this. The TLT has been the rates have still been going down. So the IWM itself is flooding down. There is a slight, right? There has been a slight increase in rates. There has been a slight increase in inflation. The market hasn't cared because it's always been like 0.1, but the bond market has cared. The bond market has been telling us something, right? That they're not buying this narrative, right? If the Fed is cutting rates and rates are going up, the bond market is giving us a signal. Is giving us a massive signal, right? And so that's why the IWM is coming down. Now for tomorrow, it is at the 50-day moving average. I mean, that's pretty oversold. We should bounce there. It typically has held there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So I think we got a chance to do a little bounce on the IWM. And the one thing with the IWM too is anytime it looks nasty, it gets hot. It looks nasty, then it gets hot, right? It looks nasty and it gets hot. It looks nasty and it gets hot. The thing with the IWM is anytime it looks hot, it gets nasty. But whenever it looks nasty, it gets hot. So just something to be mindful of as we go through. Now, let's dig into the stocks. So, top of the list for tomorrow. I got these quantum computing stocks on the chop block. I know it's the future and all this stuff, but look, this fucking thing has got 230 million shares in volume today. It was $1. It's $1 billion company. It's actually going to be a $2 billion market cap once this updates. That's a lot. If I recall correctly, they did $2 million in revenue last quarter. Not that that matters, but right, I do more revenue than RGTI does personally, right? Like as a human, right? So you gotta just kind of keep this in mind. Doesn't mean it's a bad company. It doesn't mean the quantum computing run is over, but we should be mindful of this. This is a little bit extended. It's a rubber band short. Look where the 9 EMA is. Look where price is. If it gaps up tomorrow, give me 12. Give me 12.50. I'm taking this thing down. I'm taking it downtown Julie Brown. But I want the big gap. If it opens weak, say it opens at $10, I'm not shorting that thing. Unless there was some catalyst that, told me otherwise. For a lot of people that don't have RGTI borrows, if it tanks, then, you may have to just short IONQ, which is actually probably more of a legitimate company. Maybe. You may have to short this one instead, but it's not as extended. So just kind of keep that into the back of your mind. Now look, QUBT. This used to be NBEV. For those of you guys that have been with me a while, we used to short the shit out of NBEV all the time. So Quantum Computing Incorporated is NBEV. That's the old iced tea company, I believe, or just the old beverage company. And they changed their name. Now, look, they may be getting into quantum computing. I haven't read any of their stuff, right? But this is the old NBEV. We made money on old NBEV. We used to short the crap out of it. Now, give me a gap up. Give me 22, 23. God, if it got here, dude, right? Like, if it got to here, I mean, we're taking this bad boy downtown Julie Brown. Now, you can see here, it looks like it's like some huge base breakup, but these are all because it was a 1 to 200 split here, right, in back in the day. So, don't read too much into that chart. Give me a gap of 22, 23, 24. We take it downtown Julie Brown. Now, on the other side of things, I really like this RKLB. It's been clearing some levels on the hourly chart here that I'm really interested in, that retested. I think this is like just a nice consolidation pattern that's setting up. Keep an eye on this one. UPST. After the breakout, so you pop up and now you're doing, right? You're doing the snake. Guys, the snake, pet the snake, love the snake, right? You got the snake right there. We got to come in hot on this thing. That's a good look right there, right? So pet the snake right here. Bam. Pet the snake. Come in hot on it. I like the overall look. 84 trigger. I think we should be good to go. ACHR, it needs a rest day or two. I'm actually throwing it on the watch list in case it consolidates. I need this to maybe do 1 or 2 inside days. And then we take our range. What I mean by 1 or 2 inside days is like it needs to have like just a rest day. It doesn't have to tank or even pull back, but just some narrow range days would really set this thing up, right? Like you don't want to come in and hit this breakout here on like day 4 of a move. If it breaks, we may have to take it, but it would be nice if it just, you know what would be nice if it did? If it pet the snake, right? Pet that snake. Peloton, dude, this thing, it looks amazing, right? This thing looks amazing. You got a flag breakout here, and then the longer term, right, you got this huge basing pattern. This setup has been working nonstop in this market. It's hot, it's buenos, it's beautiful. Keep an eye on it. Docu, gap up on earnings, pull back into the 9 EMA. Now you're starting to grind your way up. You can see here on the hourly chart, man, first of all, it'll speed up if it gets past 100. It looks a buenos. Muchos buenos. Lulu. Dude, Lulu moved on earnings. Also, right, was $500, came all the way to 200. And now you're starting to flaggy McGee out of this thing. It's looking buenos. Muchos buenos. 30. That's good in Spanish for those of you guys that don't understand. 395, I think, sets this thing off. It's a buenos. I like it. Let's get this thing. Bam. 395. This to me also probably is a swing trade. All right. I don't think it's a day tradable stock for the most part. It's day tradable, but I think it's probably a little bit of a swingy McGee. It's lacks a little bit of volume. It's a little bit higher price. You can have a spread. It's one of those things. It's easier to be smaller and go for the bigger move than to be bigger and go for a smaller move, which is essentially what a day trade is. All right. So that's the list I'm sticking to. The Fed is there tomorrow. Let me just say something on the Fed. The Fed will have two shakeouts. I probably won't even trade it. But like at 1 o'clock, the Fed makes its decision. Then at 2 o'clock, well, it's 1 o'clock Eastern time. No, Central time. 2 o'clock, they make the decision. Eastern time, 1 o'clock my time. And then later on, he gets on the tube and he starts talking, and that's when the real movement starts. But no matter what, you usually get a spike, and then a big fade, then a spike, then a big fade, and then it's just to grind its way back. That's usually been the tour du jour of recent. It doesn't have to be like that, but that's usually been. So there's 3 or 4 shakeouts. So don't just jump in right away. Let it develop, let it do something, and then all of a sudden you're going to be good. All right? I love you guys. Peace.